Sisters and brothers, welcome to African Genius, the podcast promoting Pan-African thought, culture, and art, cultivating a universal African mind. I am your co-host, UncleAsar Alekebulan.
Hi, Chris, everybody. I'm Wesley Pepper, your co-host, and my light just went dead, but it's not a power cut. But anyway, yeah, man, we've got a pretty cool episode today. Uncle Hassan and I have been trying to set this up for a few weeks now. We'll be discussing everything regarding beauty and what constitutes beauty, from a perspective of an African. And I thought just to make this episode more authentic and to make it more real, we got two beautiful sisters over there. They're actually both from the Eastern Cape. And if you are new, or if you don't know anything about South Africa, or you're new to South Africa, or if you're listening to this podcast, you're not from South Africa, it's in a very beautiful part of the country. It's on the wild coast, which is the stunning part. I've got a lot of family there. I've spent a large chunk of my life growing up there, actually, and going there and so forth. And I kind of consider it like my second, sometimes my third home. So, Rene van Rensburg and Chulu Fekade. Did I pronounce your surname correctly?
Fekade.
Fekade. That's
Yes.
a closer.
Yes. Yeah,
Rene,
that's closer. I'm closer.
yeah, that's closer.
Sorry.
There. And Rene, my sister, how are you doing? It's always good to see you.
I'm good, thank you. Cold in East London. It's cold.
Yeah. There's a bit of a cold snap here too. But yeah, man. So, Uncle Asar, should I lead in with a monologue, with what we're gonna talk, or do you wanna say something first?
Sure, I just wanted to lay the foundation,
Yeah.
no more than to say that we know, as it exists now, the world is under, or has been for at least 500 years, a European standard of beauty. And under that standard, those things, values, culture, and beauty are the most valued. And African features and culture and values are the least, are the most loathsome, the least valued. And I think that affects how we look at the world. I think it affects how we look at each other. And I'll go out on a limb, and I think that it affects our sisters more so than it affects the brothers. Other than the brothers, I think, perpetuate it. I think that's pretty much foundation what we want to discuss.
Yeah. Do any of your sisters want to jump in there? Or I've got something else to say, but I thought I'll just throw it open first. Rene, you always have something to say.
I always have something to say. No, I'm inclined to agree with Uncle Asar with regards to the males perpetuating that and the sisters really being what can I put this? The standard of beauty that's expected from us. I've always been kind of very natural, I think, and it's a very painful subject with regards to the texture of our hair, the way we style it, and so forth. In fact, Chulu and I were having this discussion in the week. It goes as deep as us having daughters that we need to rear, and them looking in the mirror and seeing beauty, and not by European standards, and it's extremely difficult, specifically with us, even in the, and I think when we were younger, for me, I can't speak for Chulu, but like for me, it was very difficult growing up, because even though I'm colored, I'm in that race box in South Africa, you weren't really seen or really taken notice of if you had this curly hair that I have. or, you know, your complexion, the shape of the nose, those sort of things, you know. So it becomes very, very trippy to also raise daughters to see themselves and appreciate what they have, you know. And even at schools these days, I think Chulu and I were having this discussion again, like I said earlier in the week, where, you know, straight hair, or even if you are wearing your hair the way it is in its natural state, it still needs to be, there still needs to be some product that you put to put the a little bit, you know, so that it looks neat. I don't know what neat means, but because my hair is always all over the place.
Because
You know,
the way it is now, it's not neat. It's not,
it's not neat,
yeah.
not at all. So anyway, that's just me. Sorry.
Chulu, do you want to come in?
If you
Sure,
Yes,
thanks, Rene.
from my side, European standards have really taken over. I feel like we're trying so much to be something that we're not. I think for me, beauty is being comfortable with you. The minute you now try and change yourself into something else to suit the perspective and the views of other people, it for me, it completely saturates the whole purpose of you being yourself and being able to be yourself amongst other people without being judged. You know, the fact that my hair is then, why don't you wear weaves? I don't want to wear weaves. I want to embrace my hair. I'm comfortable with my hair. You know, even its body shapes and sizes, you must be a certain way. How you look, if you have a darker complexion, you generally don't seem approachable to people or suit the general demographic of the people. There's just so much that's involved, and more than anything, it's killing people's self-esteem, and it's just a continuous cycle. I'm not happy about myself because of all these perspective and societal standards that have been drilled in my head. Now I'm going to make the next person feel uncomfortable about themselves. I think that's how I view it. That's how I view it.
Yeah, I wanted to go back. I'm sorry. No, I just wanted
to.
I wanted to pick up something you said, Rene, about having daughters and the younger generation, at least here in America back in the day, before they came out with all the perms and extensions and things like that. Only the celebrities had extensions, I think. But you know, when women used to press their hair, basically they were frying their hair. You can imagine in that you're talking about the daughters, women, the mothers, the grandmothers, the aunties, the sisters. Before the child is born, they're contemplating what day, when that day comes, that we will press her hair, right? And I remember I was in Ghana. My daughter is native Ghanaian, and I was visiting her when she was 4. I think she was 4. I can't remember. Yeah, I'm getting older too, Rene. You mentioned. So I was there, and it was Easter time. Oh, maybe she was 10. It was Easter time, and the custom was in that community was that all the little girls go and get these extensions put in their hair. There were little curls and things or something. But I was like, why does she have to do that? Well, all her friends have done it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this is, and to me, it looked like completely ridiculous how it was done. And I was like, this is not. So I say that to say that, I'll say this last part. I mentioned this book on this platform before. 1968, Black Rage. It was written by Doctors Greer and Cobb, William H. Greer and Price and Cobb. And in the book, they talk about the Black female and the white standard of beauty, and the mother being the first, I guess, sounding board as to a young girl's image of beauty. So as a child, as Black people, we always want to be presentable. So what the mother does is put this child through all of this pain and anguish around her hair to make her not beautiful,
Yes.
but where she can only be presentable. So in a child's mind, if I'm going through this level of pain and anguish and my mother loves me, how ugly am I before this process? So and that's also what Chulu was talking about, how now I feel bad about myself and I'm going to make you feel bad about yourself. And then we can't, it's not healthy.
What I was going to say is, you mentioned that, and while I agree that men perpetuate this European standard, while they perpetuate it, where the damage actually happens, or where this whole thing, or the whole idea of needing to look a certain way becomes sort of innate, if I can put it like that, and for lack of a better word, is women around you, your community. Because I could never understand when I was growing up what the issue was with my hair, and I think it's important also. This is probably also off the topic. Who you allow your daughters to kind of be surrounded by, Because I feel if from my own family, it was okay for my hair the way it was, and I didn't really care. Wesley knows this is how I've always worn my hair. I don't really do straight hair unless my sinuses are crazy. But I had to take a stand for myself and understand that this is my hair. This is the texture of my hair. Besides the fact that you had to go through the relaxing, the chemical straightening of your hair, and now the frying, as you mentioned. Also, I mean, we don't have the hot comb thing, but we've got the hair irons and all of these other things that go to some crazy sort of degrees of heat, to straighten our hair and that. But like my thing is that the community that we're in, the ladies around us, I think even amongst our peers, mostly amongst our peers, is that the straight hair, the European standard of kind of having your hair straightened, and it then filters through to their daughters, and their daughters then go to school and kind of bully another one whose hair isn't straightened, or whose mom hasn't decided to put weave in for her, or have her hair braided, and so forth and so forth. So I think the mindset around this whole thing needs to start with us. I think if more women kind of educate their daughters as to everybody's unique. I try to drum that into my daughter, most of the time, and it's not always easy, specifically because now we're obviously at that age where there's what do you call this thing, peer pressure, and now wanting to be, because it's the validation field, or the need for affiliation, and that sort of thing, so they'll take what other people tell them, irrespective of what you say at home. You can tell, I mean, my ex-husband, most people around her are always telling her how beautiful she is, but she doesn't always believe that herself. You know what I mean? So it's very, yeah. I'm so sorry. I waffle. I talk a lot.
You want to come in there?
Yes, I totally agree, Rene. I think education plays a big part. You constantly educating on a daily basis, and you're reassuring. It really needs to start at that age. The support, acknowledged, to be like, I'm beautiful. I'm beautiful the way I am. I'm made. We're all different, and we are all beautiful in different ways. I need to be comfortable about myself. Now, also touching on specifically the hair topic, our hair is beautiful, no matter what kind of hair you have. Hair is so versatile. Today you wear it like this, tomorrow you wear it like that. You don't always have to change its makeup, its natural makeup to be something else. But like, I think it's such a wonderful thing. It's your crown. Today you want to wear it up, tomorrow you want to wear it this way. It's beautiful either way. I mean, I know people have challenges where they get discriminated in the workplaces. No, tie it up. It's not presentable. No, you're supposed to do this. It's just, I mean, if your hair is clean and you're just wearing it out the way that you want to, what is wrong with that? Why are we subjecting people to, you know, such things that, oh, it's not good enough, you know? It's in its natural state, natural form. Why would you want to go and change that, you know? So yeah, a lot of education, a lot of support and, you know, encouragement helps to change the narrative, because I mean, if you know that from a young age, nothing can, you know, shake you, because it's because of other people constantly saying this and that, you start doubting it. But if you've got that knowledge and that support, I feel like it can take you far and just, yeah, change things up for you.
And Kulu, I'm glad you said that about education, because what they're doing is perpetrating, they're trying to maintain power. And through propaganda, that's the other word for education, is propaganda. Because even in the fairy tales, I mean, you know, we have these Europeans. The one that comes to mind is Rapunzel, the white chick in the tower that lets down her hair.
With a long hair.
Right. I remember when my daughter was 4, and I can talk about her because she doesn't pay attention to what I do. She's not watching, even though I try to get her to watch my podcast. She said she wanted hair like Rapunzel at 4. Yeah. That's indoctrination. That's propaganda. I don't know if you guys know, recently over the summer there was a big movie release, Barbie, the doll, right? And it was everything was pink, and you have all these women flocking to the movie, Barbie, Barbie this, Barbie that, Barbie, and all these black women in pink with bone straight hair trying to be like Barbie. And I'm like, and they just, first of all, it's not new. Barbie's been around, is older than me. I think she's probably 60 or so. And it's like, how? And you have a whole 3 generations removed, infatuated with this white chick, Barbie. And it makes no sense. And it's like, that's propaganda. And what are we doing? And I even, I wrote these rhyming West African-based stories, children's stories for my daughter. You know, that's something that I just couldn't allow, didn't even have them published. Wesley knows about them. Didn't even have them published, but I gave them to her. But it's like, I can't sit back. And even when I lived in DC, and I hate to jumping around, I'm sorry. But when I lived in DC, I moved to DC, I was a young man, about 22 years old, in my first apartment. And they had these magazines, these historical black magazines in America. Jet magazine, it was a little small magazine, and they had a centerfold in it. And it was a sister in a bikini or bathing suit every week. And the title of it was Beauty of the Week, right? And people used to collect these centerfolds. Brothers used to collect these centerfolds, and I was one of the brothers who collected them. And then in the 90s, they had a magazine called Black Men, what was it called? Black Men something. But it was a larger magazine, and it had the same type of centerfold in it. So what I did as a young man in my early 20s, I would take these centerfolds out and I pasted them all around the walls of my apartment. Now somebody would say, well, you're a perv. No, it was to counteract the propaganda coming from mass media, because I'm watching television and all you see, especially at that time, was even in the black music videos, there were white girls. So I said, when I come home to my sanctuary, I wanted to see and be reminded of what I'm fighting for. Even whether they were, you know, scantily clad as it were or not, this is my ideal of beauty. Let me finish with this real quick. This past Friday, I became aware of, they just recently passed a law in the U.S. called the Crown Act. You mentioned the hair is the crown, right? Yeah. And it's an acronym for initialism for something. I can't remember what it is. But basically, it says that you cannot discriminate against a black person for the way they wear their hair in natural styles on the job or in schools or something, right? Which I think is totally ridiculous. You have to pass a law to say that I can be an African, I can be a black man. I mean, are you kidding? What is, I need to dye my beard blonde or something? So there was a story of the lawsuit which underlying the law being passed. There was a school apparently, and just Friday, the story came out that there was a young brother. He had the long locks or twist or something, and he wore them tied up on his head. Now, with every school, there's a dress code. So the dress code goes, your hair can't go below the back of your neck or something. But the brother wore his up, tied. They put him out. They suspended him. This is the same school that was cited in the lawsuit that made the law. So they won't let it go. It's like he never wears it down. He wears it up. So it's not, you can't say, you don't even know how long it is. But you're going to kick him out because of the length of his hair. So this, you can tell this is very passionate to me because I love African people. I love my features. I love the features of our women. It is a struggle with working with my daughter on these things because she comes from West Africa, which I used to call weave Africa, because there's so much weave in West Africa, weave Africa, and it breaks my heart. It just breaks my heart that we're not in love with ourselves.
Do any of your sisters have a comment on that? Thanks for that, Asar. And your passion is felt your passion is resonated with everybody over here.
I just want to add to that.
Please go ahead.
I think representation also plays a big role. I was saying, he's saying you.
Another breaking transmission.
Other races, especially African American, that they can relate to. Representation is a big thing. If I'm going to be seeing certain thing on TV, it's going to create a certain perspective about myself. I think I lost you guys.
No, we're there.
We can hear you.
We're there. I just closed my video. My broadband is jumping, so there's like a delay.
Oh.
So I'm here. Please,
now.
No. And we record. So please go ahead.
But did you hear what I was saying? My main point is representation. Representation is also a big thing. It goes along with education. If I'm not seeing me amongst those images on TV, on posters, then I don't feel important. I don't feel recognized. I don't feel that I'm good enough. That's why, our kids and everybody, even ourselves, we watch these things even on social media. It's mainly European standards. There's not a lot of content and exposure about other races and other people. And you tend to doubt yourself. Oh, okay. Clearly this is the route that I'm supposed to be going, and it's not true. It's not true.
No, I hear you there. I just wanted to come in. Okay, I think just for time's sake, I think I'll leave that a point. I want to make a long, elaborate point about, and I wanted your opinion, both your opinion about. You was talking about education, but what I feel is that the people who's actually giving this education, because I think education is so layered these days, because at one point Zodwa Wabantu was considered a advocate for books, Zodwa. And my brother, UncleAsar, if you know what she is, she's a a trending person here. She dances with her backside, and she always drinks alcohol, and it's
I
not
know you're
really
talking about
something
the one that does the what's the
with
where you
with
can
a
go down and
savannah. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I know who you're
So
talking about. She's got
at
natural
one
hair,
point,
short natural hair.
well, she got natural hair, but just bear with me. She was once considered as an advocate for reading, that woman, for reading, and people in the industry who I know personally was okay with that. So I found that deeply concerning, because I found that we trying to at least shape or mold some form of decent form of beauty, but they're giving the people the access to the tools whose views of beauty is questionable. 100%, maybe not 100%, but a large percentage of our sisters in South Africa who become quote unquote popular, famous, however you want to shape it now, eventually get lighter over time. I think earlier on in the week you said like, what, money makes you whiter or something.
That was what my mother said back in the '80s, looking at the Michael Jackson and Prince and some other people. It's like, money make you white. And
It's the same, yeah. And then they give those people these lighter and very abstract people representation of beauty, the power to teach. So I see that as a problem, and you see it in pop music, you see it on the TV and so forth and so forth.
Look at the celebrities here in America: Halle Berry, Beyonce, Alicia Keys. They're all light skinned.
They're all
with
light
long hair.
Yeah.
Most of them are blonde, or they go blonde.
Yeah, or they have a phase with blonde hair. Yeah, and they saying
Let me say this before we run out of time, before we have to go forward. Because this is what I wanted to say. I want to put this out to the world. I love nappy hair. Let's be clear. You can call it nappy, kinky, curly, coily, whatever you want to call it. And I love nappy hair on African women. Period. I don't care where it is, how much of it is. I like it. I love it nappy. Just wanted to say that.
Amen to that, my brother.
Loud and clear.
Just if there's any doubt out there, that doubt is put to rest. And saying, like also, like, I love African women. I love everything about it, which is why we wanted to talk about this, because as Black men, we kind of confused here, because I really don't understand why women with all this beauty, this natural beauty, is unfortunately deciding to go to look. Hey man, I don't want to sound like we're bashing whitey here, because I know they're listening.
You don't? You typically do.
maybe the cat's out of the bag months ago already. The cat was out of the bag. But the thing is like, I just wish we could have a bigger platform, and brothers could just talk and just say like these things that women have insecurities about, we actually love. I don't know a single friend of mine, not one guy, that ever told me like, this girl's hair or her nails or her makeup. Like, I don't think men is really interested in that. True, it is 2023. Men are interested in different things and so forth and so forth. And I think we can unpack all. Real quick. Hey everybody, and we are back. And just to pick up there. What's your guys' take on all of that we said? These guys that's actually doing the educating, or that our daughters in particular are looking up to, are incredibly questionable. So I guess as a parent, and you've both got daughters, where do you start? You get where I want to go with this, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So anyone can jump in,
right? I'm thinking about this. It's actually a thought that I had myself this week. I was thinking, because my daughter had this perception as well that she's not beautiful, and for a long time. My daughter's got very curly hair. It's extremely long, and so forth. And, people always have had their opinions about how it should be kept, right? Me being me, I don't really allow her to do whatever she wants to with my hair. People don't always agree, but I leave her, right? So she's like has this perception that she's not beautiful, man. And I think we had this discussion earlier, Wesley. So like, about this actually, how, because I mean, I can tell her every day, this, you're beautiful and whatever, but like, how do I change her peers' view of her? Because at this point in time, I can say what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But remember, Nana, this is the whole hierarchy of needs for now. Where this need for affiliation, this need to belong, and I mean that desire is it's so overpowering. Can I put it like that? That it's a need. It's a core need. So how do we go about changing that narrative? Where because these kids come from other homes and their parents or don't necessarily have the same views as we do, and so I guess it goes back to then our peers, going back to our peers and trying to get to the point where when they look in the mirror, they see that there is everything about them is beautiful. I've not met an ugly woman in my life ever. I'm sorry, but like, I think, sorry?
No, I just said same here.
And I think our views of beauty, like the whole topic was the whole time, is that very skewed, man. And we were talking earlier about ladies bleaching their skin and all of those things. That's very deep, it's so deep. And it's not a thing for us, like, for centuries or decades that it comes from your parents, like your mother was raised this way, and she was raised with this set of beliefs about what beauty should be. I saw UncleAsar was talking about hair straightening and the hot combs and the rollers and the whatnot back then. My mom falls in that category, and it's difficult to, how do you, as a mom, Chulu, myself, other ladies that are in the same sort of peer group as us, how do we change that narrative about ourselves? And I think what we aspire to now is like Chulu said in the beginning, beauty is how you see yourself. And I couldn't agree with you more. Even your confidence, like, you are a force when you truly appreciate what you see, and it's not even a confidence thing thereafter. It's just a glow. It's a you. It's you in everything that you do, in the way that you walk, in the way that you talk, in the way that you wear your hair, and the makeup then doesn't really matter. The extension doesn't really matter. But to get our peers to where we are, I think, and I mean, even for myself, a lot of the time, or some of the time, there's still that sort of insecurity about whether, when I go out into the world, am I going to be accepted for the way that I look? Because by society standards, my hair doesn't match what is acceptable. The fact that I don't wear excessive makeup, or what do they call them here, face beats. I don't have the contouring and the whatnot. That doesn't necessarily fit the bill. You know what I mean? So, so what do we do then to convince other ladies? Because in essence, we are now the genesis of our kids' perceptions of themselves now lies in our hands, because we've come from this school of thought where European standards are the standard, right? And even Wesley, as you were talking about what do you call these people now? These celebrities that are sort of supposedly setting the standard for beauty in our country. Me, I don't watch TV. I don't know about anybody else, but I don't really generally enjoy watching TV. My kids are in the whole YouTube phase. My daughter's now into this K-pop thing, and there's the hair extensions that need to happen, and the whatnot. And like I said, I indulge her. But she also needs to know that what she has is beautiful, and these other things are just additions, and even that is a bit, I'm forgetting the word that I want to use, but these are the things that supposedly enhance our beauty type of thing, that's not something that I can stop her from doing, but it is my hope that whomever is kind of out there and trying to advocate a certain standard of beauty, that my voice is louder than theirs.
Yes.
And the friends that she has, Chulu's daughter and her are actually besties, and and just they are so pure, man. I don't know how to explain it. And the love that they have for each other. They don't comment on each other's hair. Your hair looks so pretty, and they're just like the one with. Anyways. So it is my hope. Anyways, let me go back to what I was saying, that our voices are loud enough and resounding enough, sonorous enough, that these norms or standards don't become something that they truly aspire to be, because you can never be someone else. You need to just be embracing who you are and your authenticity and what makes you. Sorry, I'm rambling on, but I think you guys get kind of the gist of what I'm trying to say.
If I can jump in there, Rene, I totally agree. Also, if we think about it, beauty standards and norms is not something new. I mean, if you look at history, there's always been a beauty trend. People tying their tummies so that they have a snatched stomach. Their feet had to be a certain shape, arched, so they'd force their feet into a shoe that doesn't fit, because if you didn't have that arched foot, like, you don't meet the standards. Like, there's always been something through generations, hence it's going to take some time, but if we don't start making that change, then nothing is really going to happen. And like you're saying, your voice is more important than anyone else. You literally have the power to be like, no, I am not going to do this to suit your perspective. I'm happy with me, I am beautiful. Also, I just want to touch on men. As much as men are not as subjected to these beauty standards, men also play a role in making women feel like they are not enough.
Absolutely.
They do have a role that they play. I don't only just think that it's women ourselves who are toxic to each other, but men are toxic towards us too. So there's a lot of people involved within this, and it's all about us making the change, each and every individual making the change, and being kind to each other, being kind. There's no such a thing that someone is ugly or not good enough. There's nothing like that. It definitely isn't.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I agree with your thing with men having a role to play, and you don't have to look further than Guess Jeans, for example. They have their entire narrative, their marketing narrative over the past I don't know how many years has all been actually incredibly misogynist. If you think of it, incredibly so. And it had this overpowering male and the submissive female over there, and that image is shit. I think it's from the 80s that I can think of. I don't know if it's further back. That's like 2 generations, maybe even more generations of men that got brought up with this submissive male, this dominating male and a submissive female. And another thing, a genre of music that's very dear to me, hip hop, especially in the 90s as well. Like some of those music videos were incredibly misogynistic and borderline perverse in many ways. But for somehow they got a free pass. I guess it was at the time, and there's multiple generations that grew up on that. So I'm definitely with you there. Which is why I think conversations like this are important. Because I do think it goes both ways. So let me throw this question on there. Where do you think, or rather, what do you think men should do to, or where do you think men should start, or how do you think men should reimagine what beauty is in 2023?
Well, I don't think it's any different than men and African men falling in love with ourselves than African women falling in love with themselves, because we're all victims to white supremacy and the Euro standard of beauty. And you got to fall in love with yourself. I remember over COVID, I mean, everybody almost over COVID, but I just let my hair grow. I didn't comb it. I didn't cut it. My beard, the whole nine. And I thought I was beautiful. I was on Zoom every day. The only problem was at my age, I got a hole in my fro here. Fortunately, it doesn't, it doesn't recede here, but and I keep it cut off, but I had a hole back here. And I had done that several times in the past 20 years. Just let it grow, to just say, this is who I am. And I think, I'm not telling every brother to do that. I'm not telling every sister to do that overnight. But somewhere along the lines, as thinking, reasoning human beings, you need to take a look at yourself and what you're doing. I wrote an article when I was living in Nigeria, and that place is it's a different place, man. But when we talk about beauty enhancement, I said makeup is supposed to be enhancement, but what the sisters are doing is embarrassment. I mean, my mother's skin is like white, but she has African features and nappy hair, just like mine. And you have sisters chocolate, deep chocolate with rouge, red cheeks. And you looked and you saw yourself. You did that to yourself. And you think that you're blood red lipstick.
Clown.
And you're exactly a clown. You look like you don't even see that.
Yeah.
Or these wigs that sisters wear. And I'm gonna go back to Nigeria because I love Nigeria. I love Africa. And I'm saying this about Nigeria because I love her. The women there, my first trip to Nigeria, I was so disappointed because I saw so many women with extensions of fake hair. And then, unfortunately, Nigeria, like much of the world, is a very classist society. You have either rich or poor. And the sisters selling things on the road, carrying them on their heads, they don't have access to, or the imagery of the European, to where they can pull it off to where it looks like a hat, basically. The hair looks like a hat sitting on their head, the fake hair. It's not even a wig. It's supposed to be weave, but it looks like a hat. That's what it looked like. And they don't see that. So then the sisters, when I was living there, the sisters with money, they paid extravagant amounts, inordinate amounts of money to have their faces, Rene said, beat up. That's what we call it here too. You, girl, your face, you got beat up. Yeah, you beat up because it looks like bruises on your face. There's no reason why you should have red cheeks and red lips. That doesn't go with you as an African. Like I said, my mother's skin, as white as she is, her skin color, it doesn't go with her hair and her features. That don't go. And we don't. And I remember I was dating this girl in but I wasn't dating her. Yeah, okay, so yeah, I'm digging myself in a hole. But her husband, who was her boyfriend at the time, she had gone to the beauty salon or something, and she had all this stuff in her hair or something, and her aunts and whatever, mother, whatever. And he said to her, "Is that how you want to look?" And it clicked for her because I think at that moment she saw them and knew that she looked like that. And that's what I can't get my mind around. It's like, how can you see other people like, well, hers don't look good as mine? Are you kidding me? It looks equally as bad. And to put it against, deal with the brothers for real again. I know brothers to this day, brothers. Man, I got to get a white girl. I want a white girl. I'm really in a white chick. And it's like, seriously? And I had a friend of mine that used to hang out, man, I like it straight. The hair got to be straight. And it's like, what is wrong with you? So we perpetuate that. You're going to pay for her hair getting done. You're going to pay for her fake nails. You're going to pay for her. And it's like, you perpetuate it. As soon as your daughter comes, now you brainwash the woman, or you continue to brainwash the woman. Here comes your daughter, who is the most beautiful thing it should be in your eyes, and you're doing the same thing to her. What's the nice way to say it is pathology, but it is sickness. And we have to deal with that. We got to put it right here. Literally look in the mirror and say, I am sick. To get past it.
It's really weird that you say they're not weird, but I can't say dated this gentleman once, and Wesley, as you know, this is my hair permanently. So the day I met him, my hair was longer, and I obviously straightened it because that's science time of the year. Anyway, and this is here in South Africa, so we classify ourselves by boxes. So it's black and colored. So I'm in the colored box. He's in the black box, and he is not happy with the fact that this is my hair and this is how I wear it. It's like, when are you going to straighten your hair again? You know, and when are you going to do this? And at some point, with us, it goes a bit deeper than that as well. Like there's the two boxes that I've just referred to, and colored people should have their hair this way. And then at some point he said, "Oh, okay, so don't you think you'd look nice with dreadlocks? Don't you think you'd look nice with braids?" Right? Now, my friends will tell you, I've always wanted to have dreadlocks. Like, if I were to die and I were to come back, I need to have dreadlocks. Like, I must. And so I'm not opposed to the idea. I've had braids recently as well. But my point of it is, sorry, man, I'm making a long story out of something that's supposed to be quick. But, I think I'm unsure of exactly what you were saying just now. It really is sick to an extent that men still have that perception of this is the standard of beauty. So in other words, like I heard a lady saying once, a black lady, who was in I can't say my friend circle, but in a friend's friend circle, who said that she wanted her hair to be as straight as an Indian woman's hair. This is the amount of money that she'd be willing to pay for the weave. And she wants to look like an Indian lady. And then I thought, okay, so it's painful, man, because like you advocate that this is your history, this is your heritage. However, there's this other part of you that would love to be, in my opinion, you have this other part of you that wants to have the hair and the eyes and like the lash that I can't get, the lashes, lash extensions and the lip fillers and
I swear to God, I don't get. I don't get
For the life of me, I can't understand it. Why? Okay,
They just got
I,
stressed.
I listened to this lady this one time, and when she's like, we were having a discussion, or they were having a discussion, and I was just there, about everything African, and there was this, and this particular thing came up, and I was like, I'm so confused right now. Like, I don't understand why you would do that to yourself. And I understand though from the sort of, can I say, she's, I don't know, like I think her husband's family is kind of was very well off. So I don't know if these European beauty standards come from there, type of thing. Like, it's now you need to fit in there, and but it just boggled my mind, man. Like, and these are people that are expecting my daughter to kind of be, to be in their company, and for them to kind to listen to auntie advice, if I can put it like that. You know what I mean? And thankfully, my daughter is my carbon copy, and she doesn't really subscribe to nonsense. So she decides for herself. She'll have a discussion about what was said, and she'll ask questions around it so that she can understand what they were trying to communicate to her. And thankfully, she knows that she's allowed to make up her own mind about it. However, I'm not gonna I've been completely off the point, guys. But the sorry, man, let me go back. So this lady, I think, with her Indian hair that she wanted, I think she just wanted she wanted a husband to kind of find a desirable, because this is the standard here. Your hair needs to be straight. I look at ladies with the weaves, like, this is why I died with laughter. It doesn't match your forehead, it doesn't match anything. And I'm not even trying to be judgmental. Like, I just feel that, like, why should you be subjecting yourself to that? Who are you subjecting yourself? Why? Who is it for? And to an extent, it makes me angry, because I wish that, like some of these ladies, I walk past them and I think to myself, oh my God, you have any idea how beautiful you are? I was going to say the effing beautiful, but like, effing beautiful you are. And these ladies are there where they're just flicking around these wings, and then making, and now somebody else comes into their group, then they ostracize this person and who isn't wearing a weave, or the weave is not the same quality as the one that they have. And I know I'm ruffling feathers here. I'm gonna ruffle feathers, but what are you teaching your daughters, man? I think this is not even if you don't have daughters, I'm sure that they are, there's the community that you go back into, and you are, whether you like it or not, you wouldn't even know whether or not you are a role model for somebody. Somebody may look at you and your poise, the way you're poised, and the way that you dress, and the way you carry yourself, and they assume that this is what beauty is like, because when you admire somebody, you look at them as this beauty is in the eye of the beholder type of thing, that becomes your standard for beauty going forward, so I'd like ladies to think about that as well. Who are you doing this for, right? What are the kids around you looking at?
Just make a point. Now you were talking about Indian hair, right? I felt that I was prejudiced, like really bad growing up, because I had like normal nappy hair, right? And most of the girls I used to like as growing up wasn't into any of that shit. They wanted guys with that Indian sort of like that spiky type of hair, the hair that you put in the gel. So I grew up kind of like not digging on the homie with a straight hair. So yeah, I guess it goes both ways. Chulu, you wanted to say something?
You see me?
Yeah, anyone can. Bruno,
Oh,
do you
so
Asad?
the thing I was talking, I was mentioning Nigeria, and when I wrote that piece, and I said, "This is not enhancement. This is embarrassment."
Mm.
It's like you completely distorted how you look, and you sisters are probably aware that when women have weddings, and then if you do it for a certain company or whatever, you can have it done free if they can take the pictures of it or tape it or whatever. And I would see some of these before and after, not even the same sister. You would have put
Yes,
these two people on in the same. I've
yes.
even seen photos of my friends when we go to weddings and things, not the same person. And it's like, and then you cannot go outside without it. That's the thing.
Yes.
You take 2 hours in the morning to beat up your face just to go to work. It's like, what are we doing? And then when you look at the numbers, the money of wet and dry hair products, fake hair, wigs, weaves, all the creams and bleaching, all of that money, all of that money. It's just it's a sickness. It's a complete sickness, and I understand that. I'm not saying it to be negative, but we are traumatized people. But God damn it, let's wake up.
Amen.
Let's wake up. There comes a time when we have to stand up and say we're not going to do that anymore. We're just flipping money away on nonsense.
No,
Amen.
there's definitely a difference in just enhancing. Just a touch of this just to, enhance versus you going now full on to look like something totally different. Also, I get that people want to experiment a bit. Sometimes I don't want to have my fro. Maybe I'll have braids for 2 weeks, but I'm not saying I can't live without braids. I can't be me without the braids. I'll tell you a story that a friend of mine shared this past week on her Instagram. So she says growing up, she was constantly told that she was ugly. She was told that she was ugly. She was told that she was ugly, that to a point when she left high school for varsity, she told herself, I'm going to be pretty now, I want to make sure I'm that girl that wakes up, does her makeup, and puts on a face, because clearly what she's giving to the people is not good enough, So she went on, for some time doing that, making sure before lectures she's got her makeup on, her weaves, are ready all the time and stuff like that. And then she said an alarming thing that happened to her was on ordinary day, I think she wasn't wearing makeup on that day. And one of the students said to her, "Oh my gosh, you are so beautiful." But because all she ever heard was "you're ugly," she thought now this girl is trying to make fun of her or humiliate her in front of the other people. She said she actually just looked at her and walked away, But she said when she got home, she put some thought into it. But why would she just tell me I'm beautiful, And then she digged deeper, into past experiences and things like that. And she was like, I mean, if it's so mean to tell someone that they are ugly, why would someone even, think of saying that to me, This girl, she genuinely was just telling me I'm beautiful, and it shocked me because I'm not used to that, But I think she just dug deeper into it and just started realizing, you know what, I am beautiful, I am good enough. I mean, it doesn't matter what the other people think or say. And I think from there onwards, she just became more comfortable just being herself and not having to wake up and do all this makeup and stuff like that just to look presentable or look convenient to other people, you know? So it's scary. It's scary because people do it for different reasons. It could be because of past experiences where you were just told that you're not good enough. And so a person like takes on a certain lifestyle to now manage their beauty. Sometimes it's just like the propaganda, the exposure, and the peer pressure to just wear the weaves, wear the makeup and stuff like that. And they end up, people get diving deeper and deeper and deeper into these beauty standards. I think people do it for a lot of different reasons, but I just don't think it's good, man. Like, if you want to do a bit of makeup here and there to enhance your beauty, great. But for you to say you feel naked without the makeup, you feel like you're not, like, that's insane. Like, I'm going to buy bread. Am I going to now do a full face beat and just to go buy bread? Because without it, I am naked and I am basically a skeleton or whatever you want to put it. It's crazy. It's crazy. And the beauty industry is a multi-billion.
Yeah. I actually wanted to
right now.
I would have wanted to touch on that, like the amount of money that this beauty industry is actually making out of Black women. I think in some ways actually stealing or robbing not just their dignity but their money as well. And then these celebrities go on these social media platforms and they are quote unquote the beacon of beauty. That paradox is fucked up, and I just don't have patience for it. And I wish that anybody that would watch this podcast would realize that you are actually beautiful. I love that almost both of you guys said that there's no such thing as being ugly. And I love that, and thank you for that. Like, because that's exactly how I feel. I know that's how UncleAsar feels as well. Like, and like as Black people should just my good friend Caesar always says, like, you should celebrate yourself. Black people should celebrate themselves. Like we are. And like I just wish that on Monday morning in South Africa, on the Southern Hemisphere, if you're waking up to go to work, that you feel beautiful about yourself. You know, there's a lot of ugly in this world. But yeah, man, guys, I think we have to wrap up here. Unfortunately, like if you're watching this podcast and you got this far, remember to smash the subscribe and like button. I'm sorry, like, and just remember to smash the like and subscribe button on this channel. It's on the Lexcia YouTube channel. Yeah, I just forgot to say that in the beginning. Yeah,
Thank
sorry,
you. That was great.
What I want to say to the gentleman is, for women, literally, it's I'm going to go back to beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and those ladies that were not interested in you because of the type of hair that you have. I think that you were better off.
If,
it's like God was saving you.
That was like 30 years ago, almost 40 years ago. But it did do something because I was impressionable.
I have yeah.
And I'm sensitive. I'm an artist, and I was in the world.
I have a question though to the two of you. Why is it that males, because I find this often, me, if I see something I appreciate, I'm one of those ladies, I'm going to tell you, like, oh, yeah, you've got stunning eyes, I love your hands, you've got nice legs. I talk about the legs a lot. And I appreciate the legs a lot. But, like, why do men not, how can I say, they don't believe it if you tell them, oh, you have such stunning eyes, or I don't know if you found that as well, but like you think so?
It's because men have a very, and again, this is European, a very chaste idea of women. You cannot be a sexual being or have thoughts like that. I remember I was working in DC, and a sister told me, because the young men at that age, they never with the shirt on, never have a shirt on. 13, 12 years old, And the sister was like, they don't understand that a woman will see that, and that is sexually aroused. That a man without a shirt. But to us, I just don't have a shirt on. I'm a dude. So we see you as being a being that's acted upon. You're gonna be seduced, or we have to impress you with our money, our cars, or whatever. But we spend a lot of money doing other things, but we don't see you that way. It's a very chaste. The European concept of the woman is, is this thing that I control, I own, whatever, and you have no agency of your own. So when you say compliment me, it's like, hey, why are you tripping? I don't see that as real. Does that make sense?
I get you.
Everybody, we are on time, and unfortunately, thanks a lot to everybody for coming. And I'll catch you guys all.
Namaste, everybody.
Rene and Kuno, I'll talk to you via WhatsApp. Thanks a lot, my sisters. UncleAsar.
Thank you so much, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.